Recently, a couple of years ago, I found the treasure book that I have from when I was little. You know, that book where you put your grade picture in. Straight through it says lawyer. I mean, I grew up in a household where we really did have a lot of discussion about the need for compassion and empathy and about how lucky we were and how little other people had. And in going to India so many times, we saw abject poverty. And it gives you some perspective on coming back home and seeing your own home. And my parents constantly talked about that responsibility that we had to others, and not just talked about it, they lived it. My grandfather, my mom's father, was a lawyer back in India, and I remember her always talking about the things that he did in the community. And actually, she was complaining that he often never took money from his clients who were so poor, and that he would do a lot of work pro bono. The idea for SALCO was born before my time. I was in law school, and I think there were some law students and new lawyers who started thinking about that issue of access to justice, and especially for communities of color, we say racialized communities, and thinking about why so many people from different South Asian communities weren't coming into legal clinics and weren't accessing legal aid. We do what we call gender-based violence work. So that's work that extends actually beyond the South Asian community. We work with people across the country on issues of forced marriage, and we work on cases of human trafficking. And the idea wasn't just to provide legal service to clients, but it was to think bigger, right? Think about the systemic issues, look at what's coming in the door, and think about how can we work with a system to change and advance the rights of those communities, but not just those communities, but also racialized communities, and advance social justice in general.
I grew up in Israel, in Herzliya, which is a city near Tel Aviv. My husband and I used to help different shelters in different countries, and we really wanted to give more and kind of know exactly where the money is going to, that it's going towards the animals. So we decided, you know, why not do it ourselves? We found a beautiful 50-acre farm, renovated everything. And we have a lot of local surrenders, people that just don't want their dog anymore for different reasons. And it's tough because you gotta remind yourself, I cannot save them all. It was very important for me to make the dogs feel at home as much as possible, which is really tough in a shelter environment because there's a lot of barking and it's a stressful environment. A lot of people will come to adopt from us, and then I'll tell them, you know, most of my dogs are 5 and up because I tend to rescue older dogs, and you know, most people will want a younger dog. Unfortunately, I really want to give the older ones the chance. We have a lot of paralyzed dogs, a lot of 3-legged dogs, and they get adopted. It takes a bit more time, but I really want to focus on that, on harder cases. We love what we're doing. It's not, I can't call it a job because it's not. It's our life, and we love it.